I also don't know how my video now has 28 views. There are only like 23 kids in that class. So either some kids watched it twice, or I got random people on the internet watching my videos. Whatever. So, I want you to take at least 60 seconds to talk with your partner about what is sampling. At least 60 seconds.
Oh yeah, sampling is basically a repetitive action of monitoring a specific amount of number of persons, like every 10th person that goes there, monitor every person that goes there.
All lost and found items are being donated Friday, December 15th. If you have left your stuff here for that long, that's on you, and your parents will probably not be happy that they have to buy you clothes to replace it. Check the lost and found. Oh, I got them out. Will, you want to talk about what you guys think sampling is? Up to you. I'm just using my cards. Probably one. English is a tough language. We got a lot of words that share some commonalities. Ella, what do you think? That's all good. That's why we're here to learn. Beatrix, what do you think?
I think kind of just like
Y'all are fine with your hands up.
taking a small thing and kind of like getting a feel for what it is, but you're not really fully
Getting a feel for what something is, but not fully. I like that. Alex?
To monitor a specific group of people, or like every repetitively measure like a specific round of people, like every 10th person that goes there, monitor them, or every 50th person that goes there, monitor them.
So Claire, would you like to read for us? I'm just using my cards. Yep, these first two little things.
sure. You want to know what a bowl of soup tastes like? Do you need to eat all the soup in the bowl, or can you get a good idea of the taste by trying a small sample? When you conduct a survey, it is not usually possible for you to survey every person in the population you are interested in, such as all female teenage shoppers or all the students at your school. Instead, statistics collect information.
Statisticians. Sorry, that is a weird word. Statisticians, that is people who do statistics. Right? So your guess was good with statistics, but sorry, go ahead.
Collect information about a sample, a portion of the population. However, finding a representative sample, a sample that represents the full population well, is not easy.
So, if you really, really, really want your Chapter 8 math notes, you can have them, but they're yellow because they're from last year. What I sent to the copy center that should be back like today, I was hoping they would have already been back here. I wanted your notes to be a different color. So again, and if my stuff's ever not in here, text me, email me, whatever. So Chapter 8 is up now. In here are your Chapter 8 math notes. If you want them before you end class, I'll put a stack of them back there, but they're yellow because they're last year's copies. I wanted to change them this year. So our box plots, if you on your homework were struggling on a parallel box plot, on homework that happens this week, we need our circle formulas. So we'll fill those out together after all of us have notes. But then on this second page, we talk about a population and a representative sample. So to save us from reading all these words, let's think about this situation. We're gonna make a change to Phoenix. Let's say, I don't know, the schedule, because that's really what I would like to change. This is made up, by the way. This is just for teaching purposes. So, we're going to make a change to Phoenix, but we want to see, do the students actually want this change to happen? So instead of asking every single student, because that would be silly, we go and we ask the 7th grade band class. Only. Would that give us the voice of the entire school?
No.
No, because that would not be representative. Okay, fine. We try again. Forget about the answers the band class gave us. So maybe Creative Start isn't the best way to do this. So we want to ask about changing the schedule. So we go to 7th grade forum and we ask everyone there.
Boo, no. 8th graders aren't included.
You want the voice of the 8th graders. Okay. So during lunch, I go to a table of girls that is all like 7th and 8th graders mixed up because I don't know why our girls tend to socialize better than our boys. So I asked them. Do you want to change the schedule? Is that representative?
No, there's some people in here.
Crap, the boys aren't included. Anyone have an idea of when I could take a sample, not everybody, when I could take a sample that would include 7th and 8th grade boys and girls? Laurel?
You could go to each extension class and have them all talk about it. And then
You go to each extension, that's everybody. But I don't want everyone because that's too much work.
But then they elect 2 people, 1 boy, 1 girl from
Exactly.
Oh.
Election, president.
So we need tributes from each.
Tribute.
Whoa.
Whoa. We're done.
Think back to Fridays for pretty much the whole first quarter. Friday Flex was like my advisory and like Mr. Combs' advisory, or not mine, Combs. Combs used to be 8th grade. Mine and Mr. Allen, or mine and Mr. Hall, or mine and Mr. Beck. We got 2 advisories together. Do you have boys and girls?
Yes.
We try to balance. I forget if we really try to balance advisories by boys and girls. We try to balance classes if we can. Do we have both grades?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So,
Stephanie.
yeah, would that be at least more representative? Yeah, because we want every different part of the group that is there, right? So, when we talk about sampling or surveying, we want to try to be as representative as possible. So, Ramin analyzes the results from this, I guess I should probably go up here. So, social director of class council, student council, right, whatever. Ramin would like to survey a few students on their interests. So, when Ramin analyzes the results from the survey, he wants to make claims about the interests of all of the students in the school. All of the students, that would be our population, right? When we talk about the everything,
100%.
the everything is our population. If you were to survey only students on the class council, for example, it might be hard to make claims about what all students think. So students who are on the class council are probably all similar. Students who are all in band, probably similar. Students who are all in art, probably similar. But you got to mix things up. So if Ramin wanted to generalize the opinions of all students in his school, would it make sense for him to go to the grocery store and survey the people there? Why or why not? Gus, what do you think? Because sometimes kids are silly. You are correct. Amir, if he wanted to generalize the opinions of all students in his school, would it make sense to ask all of his friends at school? Or at least to have a friend group that is as diverse as the entire school, right? You're a pretty well-rounded person for your friend group to be as diverse as the school. Boys and girls, 7th and 8th. Like band, choir, orchestra, arts, like all the different niches that we have. Digital media, right? Alright, yeah, so probably not great still. Laurel, if he wanted to generalize the opinions of all students in his school, would it make sense to ask every 3rd person who entered the cafeteria at lunch?
Depending on like what the ratio between people is, it could work.
So assuming that the lunch is a mixed grades lunch, and then the kids show up randomly, would that probably be representative? Probably, right? Like we can't guarantee, because what if every 3rd person just so happens to be a girl? Or just so, well, that's not really the fault of the surveyor. That just happens sometimes. Which is also why some data is skewed, and actually sometimes surveyors skew the data on purpose. Like if they want to say like 4 out of 5 dentists recommend Crest. what happened to the fifth dentist, right? Like, and there's literally a commercial making that joke about like, well, what about the fifth dentist? Because if you extrapolate that out, 4 out of 5 is only 80%. That's not that amazing. Like 80% is good, but it's not that amazing. So, our types of sampling. You don't have to write these down. I'm going to give you notes about these. But guys, if I say the word, I just want you to think in your head real quick. If I say the word convenience sampling, don't read off the board, but what do you think that means? Maddie?
I think it means like easy sampling and like it's quick, it's easy, and it's like, you know, all good fun and rainbows.
So, if I wanted to conduct a convenience sample, my morning AO class. They're in my room, they're in front of my face, I can look up and say, hey guys, should we have a longer school day?
Yes, we should.
No.
Now,
No,
is,
wait, I take that
is
back.
that representative? My morning AO class that has 12 people that are all taking yoga.
Oh, no.
No.
Well,
It's just the yoga group, which I wish I could join, by the way.
That's
Um,
we would love
I
to
have
have
to
you.
be at extensions.
Aw,
All right, hold on.
for real.
Simon, when I say voluntary response sample, do you think of what that might mean?
Like you like send something out and they can respond if they want to, or just.
Because Hasane just did this. In case she hasn't bragged about herself enough, she's finishing up her master's and she's done it in less than 6 months, which is crazy. I did mine in a year and I was like patting myself on the back like it only took me a year, and then Miss Hasane's like, ha, screw you, watch this. No, like she's kicking butt. But she just did this. She sent out a survey to the teachers and said, if you want to respond, respond. She couldn't determine who responded. It was voluntary response. Respond if you want to. About a cluster sample.
Wait, what was she asking?
About like different teaching style and like what impacts students, and it's too much to go into. Talk to her if you want to know. Just tell her I was bragging about her project, and if you want to know about it, ask her. I will say I missed the deadline, and like I forgot to fill it out, so I felt really bad and I apologize. But like I was really busy and I just missed the deadline. So I went to do it and I was like, oh crap, I'm like a week late. A cluster sample. And this one might be a bit tougher to just judge based off the words. A cluster sample. Alex, you want to guess?
Basically, when you take the entire group and then you just randomly pick out a smaller chunk of the group to represent them.
Yeah, so we look here at what they say. You first divide the students into smaller groups so that each smaller group represents all the students at our school. So guys, think about Friday Flex groups. When we're 7th, 8th grade mixed, those are our smaller groups that represent the school. The 7th, 8th, boys and girls, all the different creative starts probably. So then we randomly select one or more of these groups to sample. So I could do like me and Mr. Hall's advisory and maybe Miss Pettigrew and Mr. Allen. Right? Put those together, make our cluster with those 2 small groups, and now we got a cluster sample. So those are different types of sampling. But what we're going to do now is look at if this is the method of sampling. This is on your paper. What is the population that we are sampling? So on 821, the boxes that I made for you. If this is the method of sampling we did, who is the population?
Wait, who's the population or
Like,
who's
who's
the target?
the bigger group? So let's look at a couple of these together. So I call every 100th name in the phone book. First off, counting to 100, that many times would be annoying.
For real.
So what is the population of everyone I might have been looking at? Everyone in the phone book. Literally, now that's not literally everyone because some people aren't in the phone book. You can choose to have your number listed or not.
Wait, you can?
And yes, back in the day there was a paper book that got delivered to your house with everyone's phone numbers. Because there wasn't Google to look up what's the HVAC repairman's phone number. I need to flip to the yellow pages and
Ew.
find it.
I used to remember those because I would sit on them when I was younger to get to the flour when I was baking. See,
I would
that's
tear
not-
them up into shreds and start fires with them. But alright, survey people.
We love that.
Hold on.
Eight.
Ada,
Yes.
survey people who come to the Vote Now booth at the high school football game. What would be the greater population that you're getting? This is Ada. Sorry, her card came up. Well, her card.
People who
So the population that everyone who could have.
people who like football or
Ooh, so let's take away the word like football. People who are
At the football.
at the football game. So,
And
and
and people who are willing to vote. Or like.
people at the game. Now, so the sample we get is people who came up to,
Yeah.
but the population who could have come up to the booth, anyone at the game, right? So our sample ended up being the people who came up. Now wait, if it was just the people who came up to the booth, actually hold on, let's go back to here. If I call every 100th name, what sort of sampling is that?
A small symbol.
I know you don't have it like in front of you on notes yet, so it makes it a bit tougher. We had convenience, cluster. Ooh, wait a minute, there's more.
What?
Random
What?
samples.
New discoveries. Wait, what is that? Wait, what's the wait, go up a little bit for me, would you? What's that volunteer? Oh yeah, we already went to that one. Never mind.
Is voluntary response triggering anything in your head?
No. Well, I mean, like they didn't really volunteer. They just kind of went in the phone book. Like you're not like. Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about the phone book.
Oh, we were, but since we looked at voluntary response, wouldn't this second one be voluntary response?
It would.
You set the booth up, whoever came up, that's who you got. That might skew your data, though, because it's just the people who chose to come up.
Wait, I'm trying to.
Every 100th name, kind of like Alex was saying, like every third person, right? Does that feel like... Yeah, good, because I can't think of the word.
I was trying to
Does that feel like there's like a method, or that it's just completely like whatever? Every 100th name, that feels like I'm just randomly like.
I mean, like,
Wait, but you go all.
you're counting it, but it's kind of like random people. Like, you don't really know, like, who, like, you're not really, it feels like you're not really trying to, like, specifically get a diverse group of people, but you are having, like, a method choosing the people.
What if you
So
only
it
went to the
feels
eight?
there's like an S word that I feel like could go with this. It seems
Snake.
Sure.
Oh. Systematic. Wait, what?
this is a
I
systematic
did
sample. Systematic. There's a system. It's every 100th person. Every third person in the cafeteria. Every fifth person walking in the front. It's systematic. There's a system to it. Alright, so here's what I really need you to do. Fill in the right column with the actual population that could be reached from that type of sampling. Then, if you're able to, jot a little note about what you think type of sampling is. Right? If you want to, if you're able to, what I really need you to think about is what is the greater population that we're reaching out to. Go for it.
Could it be two?
Maybe. I mean, you can write down where you remember. This is not great getting graded, like right, wrong.
This one seems like systematic.
Morning break was that. Haphazardly means randomly. Yeah, just like with no system. Hey, by the way, if you really want your Chapter 8 math notes and don't care that they're the same color of the notes you had, I'm putting them back here. But if you wait till like tomorrow, I should have my blue copies back. But yeah, if you would like to look at them so you can look at the different types of sampling we talked about there, you're welcome to come get a copy. I mean, you can always put them back. Like if you want to trade the yellow for the blue, you can always trade back. think about everyone we could have reached. Hey, you got the memo today. This is just another pair of my Black Friday shoes. These were on sale, so I was like, sure, camo, I'm here. By the way, side note announcement. And I guess might make some of you happy, so I should probably go ahead and tell you. So, you know, we looked at my plan book yesterday. My plan book's wrong. So, well, does it ever really work against you guys?
No, but like, I don't know.
So, my plan book that we looked at yesterday said this is right for this week. However, next Friday, we're pretty certain this is your human participant day, and that we might, I'm not sure, we got to check with Miss Howard when she's back. We might not actually have class that day because it's human participant day. So what our plan might turn into, especially because 834 is a much larger homework because it's like end of the chapter, our plan might turn into this Thursday is finish up everything chapter 8 and start Jenga, and then that Friday is just, if we have class, just Jenga. And if we don't have class, then maybe that Monday. But I think that Monday, the Winterpalooza, I think we got confirmed that that is not class. So all of this to say, we probably won't be taking your chapter 8 mastery till after break.
Woo! I mean, no.
Yeah.
But then you have to remember everything you learned all through break.
I know. See, that's where the
Ah, yeah, that's where it gets you.
Wait, we both like taking that Khan Academy stuff.
As a math
You can just go to Khan Academy and look it up.
Oh my gosh.
Khan Academy has a search feature. Do I need to send you the video that is how to Google? One of my brothers, I put a Facebook question up one time about something like a project I was doing, and I genuinely just wanted people's opinions. I was doing a survey, right? This is not made up, Scouts on. So I put a question out on Facebook, and some of my brother's friends, because they're older than me, were like starting to answer, and then Garrick, snarky dude, Garrick just posted this video that he's like, here man, this will help, and I clicked it and it got bigger, and it was like how to. It was like the Google bar that is just like, it types in like the question you want asked, and it was very dismissive. Cora, if I ask every 10th student entering a high school football game, what is my greater population? So students at the game, right? Literally nothing, like just so. Is it the same as the one above it?
No.
It's only students, right? As opposed to the one above was just people. But still, it is only available for those at the game. Now, if it's every 10, do we know what kind of sampling method that is?
Cluster. Systematic.
It's systematic. Technically, it's systematic random because it's just whoever's in that line. So it is a type of random sampling. But yeah, this is systematic because it's every 10. Mick, what about haphazardly, such a good word, survey students during the morning break? Yeah, any students on break. So guys, one teacher abbreviation that we use sometimes is like S for students. So students on break, right?
Wait,
Would that be representative?
No.
Maybe. Depends who's on break.
What if people like to take afternoon breaks? They probably
Ooh.
have tomorrows.
And hold up, so Mick said convenience. Anyone say anything different than convenience? Aqua? Random. Well, convenience is still kind of random. It depends on who's in the group, right? Whether how random it is or not. If my convenience sample is the choir class, that's not random. But if my convenience sample is whoever's on break, it feels like it's probably convenience. Yeah, you're just doing whatever. Ahmad, what about text response to an online instant poll?
Just everyone online at the moment, I guess.
Yeah, the people online.
Which is like way too many people. So.
Oh my gosh, Mr. Hodgson.
What? The peeps online.
Voluntary response.
Sir.
Ooh, it's voluntary response. You put it, you text it out. You only get the answers that come back. Charlie, what about handout surveys in the library before school?
Alright, so basically just it's either students or students in the library.
Ah, that one. Because if the students aren't in the library, could they respond to my survey? No, because I'm only in the library. So that would be students in the library, right? Students in the library.
Why is it just
No,
students? When there
Why?
can be teachers too. Because like there can be teachers.
Okay, yeah. So people, right? I guess people in the I assume students, but I guess people. Do we know what sort of sampling it is?
Before school too.
I'm sorry, Sammy, a little shortening. It's giving.
Yeah, like convenience, maybe volunteer, maybe both. Like I hand them out to everyone, and then some people throw them on the ground. So yeah, like convenient, voluntary response, maybe.
It's a
Giving
component.
Owen, survey all students in period 1 English class.
Anybody, any student in a period 1 English.
So literally our population is this. And what type of sample?
Would that be system?
If it's all students, there's really no system to doing all of them.
Um,
If I survey all of you right now, what sort of sampling is that? Convenient! It is convenient! Hey guys, I was too old when I learned that a convenience store was called a convenience store because it's convenient, because it's right in your neighborhood.
Wait, really? I didn't know that either.
I'm from
Yeah.
the country. So the convenience store was just a Maristop. I'm like, oh, I'm going to Maristop. It's a convenience store. I never thought about it.
No.
I was just one of those kids that didn't read enough,
Oh.
didn't think deeply about things. I was too old when I learned it's a convenience store because it's convenient. That's also a word I don't think I necessarily knew when I was young. And what does that actually mean? All right, so convenience sample.
But like a convenience store, like it's convenient, but like I feel like every store's convenient. You go to Walmart, you're going to Walmart because it's convenient.
Yeah, but
That's a
Well,
convenience
so-
store.
Over here, it's like, am I going to the store that's 20 minutes away or the store that's there? But like in Coshocton, everything is like
So then
less
that
than
would
10
only-
minutes away.
Exactly. So then if I lived next to a Kroger, then I wouldn't call it a convenience store. It's a grocery store.
Real information.
No.
Guys, this is one of the things I love about CPM. When they like throw info at you, they try to make it actual information. So legitimately, and yes, 2008 feels like a long time ago now, but a 2008 survey conducted by University of Iowa concluded, like at the end of it, children that play violent video games are more aggressive in real life. How did they conclude this? Children ages 9 to 12 were studied to determine how much they played violent video games. Peers and teachers were asked how much these students hit, kicked, got into fights with other students. So, hold on. This is where, like, again, talking, I forget if it was this class or the other class, talking about, like, how what you learn in elementary school actually does relate to you being a human in the real world and what we learn in middle school. And hopefully this stuff is hitting home about, like, wait, can you actually say that or not? Can the study you did actually prove this or not? So, can we legitimately conclude from this study that teenagers who play violent video games tend to be more aggressive? So I'm going to ask these questions and let you guys talk. Can we legitimately conclude that children ages 9 to 12 who play violent video games are more likely to commit violent crimes? Can we legitimately conclude from this study that children ages 9 to 12 tend to hit and kick more in school? Can we legitimately conclude from this study that playing a lot of violent video games will cause 9 to 12-year-old students to become more violent at school? Chat about these things with your neighbor, because obviously you've got some neighbors. Okay, this is what that study is. We're just going based off this study, not based off you. Based off that study. Okay, the study was current. They published the textbook. The textbook is just going update this one. Those were bring it back in 10. We're coming back in 5. See, I think that might work. I've been struggling with like what else can I do better, and I think the whole coming back together. I need to give you a warning because I don't think it's like appropriate to just say like right now, stop your conversation. Vivian, what do you think about A? Can we legitimately conclude from this study that teenagers who play violent video games tend to be more aggressive? Why or why not? Give me more. Give me more though. Who did they survey?
Our teenagers.
They're not even teenagers! That definitely can't say this. And this is where people will be like, oh, I read online. No! You can't say this because you saw this. This does not involve teenagers. Get that crap out of here. Maddie, what about B? Can you legitimately conclude from this study that children ages 9 to 12, alright, who play violent video games are more likely to commit violent crimes?
No.
Why?
Because, like, you know, because like they haven't committed like violent crimes yet.
Did this survey say anything about crimes?
No. They said school habits.
This isn't even related. This is like saying surveys that eat, or like students who eat hot dogs are more likely to steal an iPhone. Like what? Yeah, like causation and correlation, right? All right, hold on. Will, C, can we legitimately conclude from this study that children ages 9 to 12, okay, tend to hit and kick more in school?
No.
What is this statement not even like talking about? This has nothing to do with the survey was about video games. This doesn't talk about video games at all. Silly. Get that crap out of here. D. Ella. Can you legitimately conclude from this study that playing a lot of violent video games will cause 9 to 12-year-olds, students, to become more violent at school? So, this is the trap door. Because your temptation is probably like, yeah, I think out of this list of these 4 options, this is probably the closest to being legit, but listen. So here's like verbatim from the book. No. It can only be said that there is a relationship. There is a correlation. However, Simon?
Correlation does not equal causation.
Explain that more.
Just because there is like a relation, like, I don't know, people that use calculators like broccoli
So-
doesn't mean that just because you like calculators doesn't mean you like broccoli.
if I have the graph of how much Maddie talks to Beatrix and how many assignments Maddie has in math, and this shows a positive.
It should be
That-
deeper than that.
All right. So Beatrix says the line should be more like this.
Yes. Well,
Does this mean that talking to Maddie talking to Beatrix
What?
causes Maddie to not get her work
I
done?
think it's usually
No.
no.
But
No.
could it be related to each other?
Now
Yes.
you have to say the
But-
time.
Yeah.
Correlation does not mean causation. Now hold up. Do not mishear this. Can correlation show us causation? Yes. We got to dig deeper. But based off this survey that we were talking about, that correlation does not necessarily tell us that's the cause. That's all the time we have for today. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hope that wasn't too
No, I love it.
too close to home.
That was